probably the most contradictory things I got was from beta readers. And there you have to take or leave it, right? So if you feel like it's something that you're hearing from more than one beta reader, then you really do have to address it and you really respect that person. But if you only hear it from one person, then you really have to decide, is that something you really want to do, or just put that aside and go on. And I got a lot of contradictory advice from different beta readers, and
How many
kind
babies
of time.
do you?
Oh, yeah, as I said, I think there's about 15 of them, and in all over the full course of the thing. So a lot of the comments from the first beta readers were irrelevant by the time it was done. There's one guy who read it twice, very nice of him, and he was always super helpful. Some people will just give you this advice as, oh, it sounds really good. Well, that doesn't help. Or they'll give you, like, I hated this whole part, but that doesn't help either. I learned who I'm going to send more things to in the future, I think. People who were, very constructive and trying to get to the
Okay.
heart of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's Sarah Ahern is waiting, so I'm gonna just let her join, and then we can now zoom forward to that exciting moment then where you have your agent, you worked with her, and now you guys are ready to submit. So, hi Sarah. So what day did you put it out to publishers?
So we put it out September 19th. It took about, so here was the issue, and I think, yeah, you and I had a call earlier today and we talked about this, but what happened was that Elizabeth has contact with Michelle Weiner at CAA, and they've done quite a few projects together, so in LA, and um, so she asked me on a Friday, oh, is it okay if I send it along to her while we're waiting for responses from publishers? I said, sure, And then she said, and then Monday, I go to the fish store. I'm standing in the parking lot, and I get this phone call from her, and I always answer her phone calls. And so she says, "Oh my gosh, Michelle wants to talk to you this afternoon. She's gaga for the book, and she wants to be." And I knew nothing about Hollywood agents or how that works or anything. The fact that you have a separate agent in Hollywood and all this, and she says she wants to talk to you about being your agent, and so that was exciting. And she turns out she'd read it over the weekend, couldn't put it down, was shooing away her children as she was reading about my children. It was this whole story. I never heard anybody go so nuts over it. And so she had a whole list of people she wanted to send it off to and all. But meanwhile, I'm still waiting for publishers to respond and getting the same, oh, this is going to occupy the same shelf space as XYZ, and we can't take this on right now, or we just don't think this matches our whatever. And we got a lot of criticism back, but no bites. And Elizabeth actually started getting worried that, wow, we're going to have a Hollywood deal and no publishing deal, but we got to have the publishing deal in order to get the Hollywood deal. So luckily that came through after about 3 weeks, and then I had two offers. Just like I had two agent offers, I had two publisher offers, and I decided to go for the larger of the two, simply because I know they had a lot of clout, and they had published books that I liked, along the way. So, and I really took to Cindy Wang. Cindy Wang is the editor at Berkeley that purchased my book, acquired my book, and she acquired it. She acquires books for both Berkeley and Ace. Ace is their sci-fi label, and so it was a decision as whether they were going to put it under Berkeley or Ace. They decided to put it under Berkeley and to have a wider appeal, basically, and so that's another decision that got made. Meanwhile, the Hollywood thing, I had a lot of bites, but only two true offers where they were able to get funding and offer me something. And one was for a TV series. They wanted to do TV series, and I just couldn't get on board with the vision that they had for it. It was we went back and forth a few times, and I just thought, wow, I just don't see it being like this. And then when the Spielberg thing came through, I just said, that's it, that's the Spielberg thing. So um, we'll see whether that is going to be a real thing. Right now, they have an option, and I hope to gosh that they'll pick it up and go with it.
Mhm.
But
So
we'll,
tell us the fun part. Tell us, like, I mean, there must have been some like big pitter patter moments here, like big heart beating moments. First, when you got the agent, but certainly when then Michelle was interested in Gaga for the book, and the movie started to become like a reality. And tell the story of you actually going to Amblin.
oh, so yeah, when that summer, I had a family retreat down in Balboa Island, and I wrote to the guy who had acquired the book for Amblin, and I said, his name is Jeb Brody, and I said, oh, would anybody be there to meet me if I came down? And he says, oh, sure, sure, I'll put you in touch with John Blewitz, who's this young guy who's kind of up and coming there, and he's your kind of project manager there, and you can talk to him. So then I started getting emails from John, and he says, oh, bring me some frozen bananas from Balboa Island, and he seemed like a real nice guy. They go down there, and when you go in, there's like Universal Studios. You have to go through their gate, and you have to get lost in there for a while. That's like required, I guess. It's just a huge, sprawling complex. You finally get to the gate of Amblin. Their gate is looks like the gates to a Jurassic Park. Those big wooden things, and then only I was allowed through there. My daughter had to drop me off, and I went in. She had to drive off and wait for me somewhere else. They're very secretive. It's designed in the manner of an adobe that you might imagine in New Mexico somewhere. Like there's a courtyard in the middle. This apparently was built for uh, Steven Spielberg by Universal when he did Jaws. That's what I understood. And so they said, oh, you can have your own little house in here. You never have to leave. And apparently sometimes he doesn't. Um, he has a screening room in there, which I didn't get to see. He has a lot of rooms in there, which I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see anything except for kind of a room that looked like a living room where the guy took me, and we talked about they had hired a screenwriter, Amy Louise Johnson, uh, and they did that way back in March last year. So that was the first step, and she had a degree in psychology, and she's from San Francisco, and I really liked that. I liked that she was a woman, and he talked about their vision for it, and so I was really set at ease. My mind set at ease by that discussion. But as I told you, after that, other than that, I have not heard word one from them. So they aren't telling, oh, here's what we're doing. No, they're not telling you any of that. And so I've heard from a couple different authors, Andy Weir and some others, that, you hand it over, you hope for the best. Whatever they do, it's theirs. It's not theirs yet. They haven't purchased it outright from me, but they do have the option, and I have to wait, see what they're going to do.
So that was a nice little name drop in there. Andy Weir, you were talking. So
Yeah, yeah. I
look,
don't know. I don't know him. He got married in my church, strangely.
oh, really?
Um, I think he was just looking around for a church in his neighborhood and got married there. I read all of his stuff, obviously, but uh, and I've seen many interviews with him. And I went over to Jewish Community Center in Palo Alto here. He gave an interview where he talked about that idea of, it came up. You
Right.
know, I know he's working down in LA now. He's working on projects directly down in LA now.
Yeah. I hear that he's producing himself or something, isn't he?
Something I don't know what he's doing exactly, but he's spending a lot of time. Well, he was until this all broke out. I think he was spending a lot of time down there. I don't know what he's doing now, but normally he would live in Mountain View, which is just one city over from me here.
So at this point in your story, then you've got the book deal and you've got the movie deal, and and so let's just look back for just a second or two. I remember talking to you once, like ages ago, where you were kind enough to give me a testimonial for something, and you said that you really wanted the message out there, like how many more steps were involved than you thought that when you set out to do it, and that you've had friends who were discouraged along the way because they go through one round of editing and it's so tough,
Mhm.
that they get discouraged and drop off. So when you started out, well, writing, like, did you think, now with 2020 hindsight, that you would have gone through, by my count, there were something like 9 professional edits before you kind of, the 3 from me, 3 from Heather, was it? And then
Yeah,
there was Elizabeth.
like 3 from Elizabeth. Yeah,
So,
and Hallie, her assistant. Yeah.
so 9 big, like pretty major edits. Like, did you foresee that coming out of the gate? Did you know that was
I knew it was ready for prime time. Yeah, I knew it wasn't ready. I just didn't know. At some point, you can't see the forest for the trees. I'm writing another one now, and I can see. So now, as I'm writing, I'm looking at it through all of these eyes all at once. Like, oh, don't say that because that doesn't make any sense. Or, I'm able to self-edit much better than I used to be. I'm sure I'm better now. Um, and I wrote something for online publication that is the Butterfly Garden, and I wrote that with very little editing by someone else. I think I had 3 beta readers, and they helped me edit, and that's it, and off it went. And I'm pretty proud of it. So I think I'm better, but I think I did expect that, and I did want that. The only problem is when you get those edits back, you have to be ready to cry for a couple of days, and so there, you thought, if you thought your comments were mean, Heather's were just over the top mean, and then Elizabeth's were cutting, because by then I thought, oh my God, you're my agent, don't be like this. So it's it gets very ego bending. You have to steel yourself and realize that this is a project you're working on, and it's not you. It's not, you know what I mean? I don't put it at a little bit of distance from yourself. No matter how engaged I was or how much a part of me this project had been for so many years, um, it's still a project I'm working on with a bunch of people, and those are usually the best things come out of that.